But we begin 9 News at 4 with a look outside at a dark and stormy summer afternoon here in Colorado. There's been plenty of action over the metro area last couple of hours. Some big claps of thunder, lots of rain coming down. Take a live look at video from, this is not live, this is video from Parker. You can see that rain just hammered down as that truck drove by. This is what it looked like out in front of our studios too. Parker is just one of several places that saw a downpour like this. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Phil Lipoff.
And I'm Kim Christensen. We've been waiting for this, the long-awaited monsoon moisture and the rain. Sometimes it's a little more than we asked for, Kathy.
Yes.
Careful what you wish for, right?
Yes, exactly. And there are impacts out at the airport. There's a ground stop due to the rain, the wind, and now a severe thunderstorm that is set up over DIA. Thunderstorms have been tracking off the foothills, moving very slowly, producing torrential rain on I-70 for motorists for a time, and now in Douglas County, dealing with a flash flood situation with 2 to 4 inches of rain in the last hour and a half. We have a flash flood warning that is out for Douglas County until 6 o'clock tonight, and a brand new severe thunderstorm warning that is out for eastern Adams and Arapahoe counties. It is still raining in Parker. Storm drains are having trouble keeping up with all of the water, so we're getting reports of street flooding and just flooding in general. And we ask you in a scenario like this not to drive through water. You don't know how deep it is, because even a few inches of water can displace an SUV. So flash flooding from Perry Park into the Castle Rock, Pinery, Castle Pines North, and Parker area. This is a flash flood warning out until 6 o'clock tonight. A lot of thunder and lightning in the area, and you can see where the path is of that heavy rain, and it is still coming down in that area now. A brand new severe thunderstorm warning, this out until 4:15. This cell has the potential for hail. There's a hail return here, and this warning out for Adams and Arapahoe County until 4:15 as that line of storms drops torrential rain, but also hail, lightning, and thunderstorm wind gusts to 60 miles per hour. More moisture feeding in from the southwest. These are all of the current warnings. These magenta polygons, there's 5 of them, flash flood warnings where flooding is either imminent or occurring. And this is severe thunderstorms outside of Denver, out by DIA, where hail and damaging winds could be a really big issue for the next hour or two. The good news, it's comfortable out there. It's cloudy and 73 degrees in Denver, but a flood watch continues until late tonight. We're particularly concerned about the Aspen Acres burn scar. Significant flash flooding there yesterday, mudslides and debris flow, and we have areas in and around the Ferris burn scar and the Lee burn scar that are also creating some mudslide and flood potential. Denver has a chance at seeing more heavy rain. We saw a ½ inch of rain in about 20 minutes time here just a couple of hours ago, and we have a little more moisture coming in tonight. Things get a little bit drier tomorrow, a little bit warmer tomorrow. Enjoy the temperature trend and the brief cool down, because we are headed right back into heat advisory territory for the weekend. The timing and impact of that is coming up.
We'll take you outside to DIA right now, where, as Kathy mentioned, the weather is starting to impact flights. Right now, FlightAware shows more than 630 flights have been delayed, with another 17 being canceled. A ground stop affecting flights coming into DIA was also just extended, now lasting until 5 o'clock, just about an hour from now. Some arrivals are running almost an hour and a half late at this hour.
We're going to keep you posted on the weather and all of its impacts. City leaders, though, agree Denver has a traffic safety issue, but they disagree over which police stops actually make streets safer.
And now City Council is weighing whether to make a DPD policy that limits low-level traffic stops permanent. 9 News reporter Ria Jad joins us live from Denver to explain what would change.
Yeah, so right now Denver police policy is to not stop drivers for lower level violations. So anything that isn't considered a public safety threat. That includes a cracked windshield, a taillight that's out, or some license plate tags that are expired. So if this policy were to go into effect, drivers wouldn't notice a change immediately. It would just make this policy into law so that it couldn't be changed later.
what police can enforce,
talking about low-level stops,
and what they prioritize are not the same thing in Denver.
putting Chief Thomas's existing policy into ordinance.
Denver Police Chief Ron Thomas implemented a policy in 2024 that limits low-level traffic stops, such as expired registration, a cracked taillight, or improperly displayed plates. Instead, he tells his officers to prioritize safety violations and crime, like speeding, running red lights, and DUIs. City Council is now considering making that policy permanent.
These are minor violations that do not pose a threat to public safety.
City Council member Paul Cashman cited research from a variety of academic and public policy institutes that found low-level stops waste police resources, do little to improve safety, and disproportionately affect drivers of color.
Nationally, the data shows that police are more likely to pull over people of color for these low-level traffic offenses.
Jill Locantori is with the transportation advocacy group called Denver Streets Partnership. She raised many of the same concerns the proposal aims to address.
We've got a crisis of public trust in government.
The ordinance would also require DPD to give City Council reports detailing the type and reason for traffic stops. City officials said they couldn't determine why tens of thousands of drivers got pulled over.
Thank you for the presentation. And Councilman, as you know, I don't support this.
Councilmember Kevin Flynn says this is one of the reasons why he's opposed to it.
Because we don't have the data. And without the data, we shouldn't be putting this into the code. People are crying out for more traffic enforcement, not less.
Jill says with this proposal, public safety is the priority.
We need to be asking, how do we spend our public taxpayer dollars in a way that's going to actually increase public safety? And pulling people over for cracked taillights is not it.
City Council is still working through the details, and this proposal hasn't actually formally been introduced, so this draft could change before City Council actually takes a vote. Reporting live in Denver, Ria Cha, 9 News.
Interesting to see how it plays out. I mean, everybody agrees. Let's make the streets safer. How we do it, that's kind of the question.
That's what's up in the air.
All right, thank you, Ria. This year's drought has added a new chore for some of Colorado's ranchers, and that includes hauling water. Livestock usually have an option to drink out of ponds and creeks, but hey, the lack of snowmelt this year, the wells are empty. So ranchers are now hauling thousands of gallons of water to their herds. One rancher in Montrose says it took 8 trips in 3 cars over a 9-hour span to bring water to his herd. And that water will probably only last a day or two.
We can manage the situation and do the best what we can for the cows. And but there's no control over it, basically. You know it's going to be bad, so you start making plans to make it better and in hopes that it's going to get better. But it may not, you know, we don't know that. If Mother Nature doesn't want to help out here, we're probably in a lot of trouble.
So to upon our ranchers can apply for reimbursement from the government to cover the costs of transporting water. They're also trying things like shrinking down herds and moving cows to more grazable land to help in the meantime.
A West Metro firefighter is in critical condition at this hour after a 50-foot fall during a training exercise. The accident happened about 11 o'clock this morning near Morrison. Firefighter was working on a rock face above the main road that runs right through town. 9 News reporter Kevin Vaughn joins us now. Kevin, the injured firefighter was very experienced at this kind of rescue that the crew was training for, right?
Yeah, Phil, he's a 23-year veteran and a technical rescue instructor. Firefighter Jared Leonard and his crew members were training for what are known as high-angle rescues. They were working on a sheer rock outcropping when something went wrong. It's believed that Leonard fell about 50 feet. This afternoon, firefighters flew a drone to get a bird's-eye view of the area, and then in the last 90 minutes or so, they donned climbing gear and headed back up the hill where they could be seen photographing the area where Leonard was injured. West Metro spokeswoman Rhonda Schulting said even though this was training, it can still be very dangerous.
Anytime you're dealing with gravity, it's inherently dangerous, and especially when you look at the rock face behind me, it's pretty steep. So great care is always taken. Everyone is always roped in before they approach the edge, which means they have the carabiners and the whole system is basically wrapped around their waist. They wear a harness, and no one approaches the edge without some kind of harness on. And because you never know. I mean, there could be a gust of wind that pushes somebody off.
West Metro officials are investigating what happened. They're trying to determine exactly what went wrong up on the side of the hill. It's not clear whether it's going to be investigated by an outside agency. We don't have an answer to that yet. Part of Leonard's job as a technical rescue instructor was to work with other firefighters on the skills needed for the kinds of rescues that actually they could have been performing here, say a rock climbing accident or a serious fall of some type. Reporting live in Morrison, Kevin Vaughn, 9 News.
Yeah, Kevin, this just goes to illustrate how difficult these rescues are and the danger that these folks are in with all the experience you say this firefighter had.
Yeah, Phil, that's right. I mean, and they train for other dangerous situations. For example, trench rescues and even rescues inside burning buildings. So the training itself, simulates the conditions they could face on an actual call.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. All right, Kevin, thank you.
Most crews celebrate a finished job, but today CDOT is celebrating a half-finished job on I-70 because they promise drivers are going to feel the impact. The Floyd Hill project just reached a major milestone to improve I-70 along an 8-mile stretch between Evergreen and Idaho Springs. CDOT says they're officially done with rock blasting, so that means those daily 20-minute traffic holds are going to go away. Now they can move on to bridge building, lane widening, and other road improvements. The state says the road should mostly stay open with limited traffic impacts from here on out.
Traffic impacts are going to be better because we're not going to have those traffic holds consistently throughout the week, so that's something to celebrate through here. We're doing it over live traffic up in the air, and so that makes it so that we don't have to close traffic during construction.
CDOT is realigning lanes. In some sections, the westbound and eastbound lanes will braid on top of each other rather than side by side. The entire $900 million project is expected to be finished by 2029.
Aurora police are asking for the public's help in identifying a vandalism suspect. Police believe the man vandalized a string of businesses on East Colfax overnight. Investigators say this happened between 1 and 6 in the morning between Dayton and Florence. The suspect is believed to have thrown objects, as you see, through storefront windows and glass doors before taking off, causing tens of thousands of dollars in damage. If you know who the person is, call Metro Denver Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen.
The Broncos are in day 2 of training camp with the full squad, and that includes linebacker Jonathan Cooper. Cooper was arrested twice in June after incidents with his then-girlfriend and charged with felony assault, among other charges. He spent the last month completing an inpatient therapy program and is now present at training camp. Head coach Sean Payton says they are following typical protocol with Cooper, but happy with his progress off the field.
Well, we're staying the course with the league. We're staying the course with league protocol, club protocol, relative to what we're advised to do. He's been fantastic working away from the building, and we'll continue to do that and monitor it. We're supportive and yet very much aware of the seriousness of these type of things.
Coming up later in the hour, we're going to check in with our Broncos insider Mike Kliss for more on Cooper, and Bo Nix throwing the ball today.